morning.
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 This is a commemorative speech in reference to Coach Larry Marsh. He's an innovator to many, and he was my inspiration. A major inspiration in my life came in the form of a high school football coach. The effects this man had on my life as a mentor carries on today, 30 years after he coached me in the final game. He came into my life at a moment in time when I was a lost soul and needed a role model. I was beginning my freshman year of high school, September 1981. As a freshman at Tallahassee, Florida's Ricketts High School, I was sort of a lost soul. I basically went to school to have fun, crack jokes, and get in an occasional fight. I love football, so I decided to go out for the team. I played on a freshman football team, and as I went out, I met the varsity football coach. He seemed in control of the whole program. It was the first year that he was at the school, and it was my first year I was there, and he was new to everyone. Furthermore, he was from up north and spoke differently from all of us. He had a deep, commanding voice, and he was very direct. He seemed to care about us all, even though he had just met us. This was a different feeling for all of us. Our school was not known for its football program, especially the varsity football team. They usually finished last in the district year after year. But something was different. It would take 3 years before we would realize what that was. It would affect me and several others for years to come. What made him so special? Why was he intriguing not only to me, but the others in my freshman class? Simply put, he instilled discipline into us all. He instilled discipline and a willingness to learn in me, not only on the football field, but also in the classroom. It wasn't an easy task either. I can remember him pushing me to the point of almost quitting. I felt like I would pass out as he made me run continuously. I can remember him saying, "You're going to quit." On occasions I wanted to quit. But I can recall him saying, "You're going to quit. Then quit. Because if you quit now, you're going to quit on your family. You're going to quit on your job. You're going to quit on everything. You're going to be nothing but a quitter in life." This newfound discipline began to show on the football field as our team began to become more competitive with the powers in our district. No longer were we getting embarrassed by scores such as 76-0, 52-6. The powerhouses began to find themselves in a confrontation and barely escaping with a win by my sophomore year. I recall Coach Marsh saying, "I was a man of character." And also remember saying, "What does character mean?" Well, this made me go and look up the word, character. And when I read what that definition meant, I felt proud. I felt good. I liked it. The discipline was not only beginning to show on the football field, it began to show in the classroom. For the first 10 years of school, kindergarten through 10th grade, I went to school to clown around, barely making enough grades to pass to avoid the embarrassment of failing. I still today can recall the first time I buckled down and took school seriously. I made good grades on my report card. I recall it being 4 A's and 2 B's. I felt proud. I said to myself, "I'm smart." I remember taking that report card home to my mother. She was so proud that she cried. This was a proud moment not only for me, but it was for her. This was made possible by the influences of one man, For the first time in my life, I saw myself going to college. By my sophomore year, as it was winding down, began the spring football practice. I received a recruiting letter from the University of Southern Mississippi. Coach Marsh handed it to me and told me, "Don't let this go to your head." Well, that's exactly what it did, but in a good way. I began to focus along with my play along with others in my class. I noticed something that was obvious to everyone. There was a bond being instilled in each of us. We were like brothers. We began to do everything together. We became a family at some point, and we were inseparable. We worked out together, went to the movies together, ate together. We did everything together. By our senior year, we were almost unbeatable. We played hard and had each other's back. We defeated a crosstown powerhouse known as Leon High School for the first time in my school history, 21 years. That football team accomplished this feat. This was the same year, the same team that had beaten our high school 76-0 my freshman year. We ended their streak of 21 straight victories. This was an enormous accomplishment for Coach Larry Marsh, as he became a household name. And we had shocked and blown the minds of everyone in Tallahassee and the Florida's Panhandle. Ricketts High School football team then went on to win the district title in the Big Bend area for the first time in school history in 1984. We also went to the state playoffs for the first time in school history. This was made possible by one man who brought a brand of belief to a group of kids that was supposed to amount to nothing. We lost in the first round of the playoffs to a team that did not allow more than 13 points the entire football season in 1984. They were big and they were good. This team was undefeated, and it was led by a running back who is now the all-time leading rusher in the NFL, Emmitt Smith. It took them 3 overtimes to beat us, and they won on a field goal that they should have not had the opportunity to kick. But that's another story. And by the way, we were the only team that Emmitt Smith did not rush for over 100 yards against that entire year. They went on to win the state championship that year with ease. This loss was extremely devastating to us all as we cried like babies for hours after the final horn. Through it all, Coach Larry Marsh was our pillar of strength. He accepted full responsibility for our loss. He was there for us through all 4 years of our high school journey. His influence remains with us 31 years later. We did not realize at the time, but Coach Larry Marsh had created a group of well-mannered, disciplined, and hard-working men. The work ethic he instilled in me back in 1982, 83, and 84 still runs deep in my veins today. We were different from the rest of the students that attended our high school. We are now all professionals in our chosen careers, and we all are looked at as leaders or supervisors in our profession. This was made possible by one man from a small town in Pennsylvania. We are still today Tallahassee's, Florida's Marsh's Mountain Men. We're still known as Marsh's Mountain Men in Tallahassee, Florida. Recently, at a 30-year reunion of the team that defeated our crosstown rivals for the first time in school history, the school honored us all by giving us our rightful spot in our high school sports Hall of Fame. Thank you, Coach Marsh. for giving us poor inner city kids a chance to be successful men. Thank you, Coach Marsh, for being a mentor at a time I needed it most. Thank you, Coach Marsh, for instilling the discipline in each of us that still drives us in the right direction to be successful men today. Thank you, Coach Marsh, for a wonderful youth that dreams are made of. And thank you, Coach Marsh, for a dream that came true.